Hey everyone, the numbers are in for Whisper Dunes for all of 2022. I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group over at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. And this quick video, I want to give you some highlights of what happened in 2022 so we can understand where we are now in the market and where we may be headed in 2023 with pricing. So let's get right to it. 2022 was very much a tale of two halves of a year. Early in the year, the market was as intense as we've seen it in quite some time. By halfway through the year, things had slowed down quite a bit. Separate markets were happening differently, so I want to focus on Whisper Dunes specifically. What you're looking at here, though, is a chart from the state of Florida from a company called Showing Time. You can see it here. Showing Time is a company that real estate agents and brokers use to schedule showing appointments. So this is one way for us to sort of get an idea where the market may be headed, because think about it for a minute. If we're starting to see more and more showings in the market, that's a sign that the market might be getting a little bit more intense. If we see fewer and fewer showings, it could be a sign buyers are cooling off a little bit. So if you can see what happened in 2022, that's the orange line. At the beginning of the year, we were showing just about as much real estate as we had the previous 2 years, which were very, very busy. By March, end of March, you can see that now we start to see a pretty big spread between the orange line and previous years. This is COVID right here, so this was a little bit of an outlier. But you can see by May, June, we were showing far less real estate than we had in the previous 2 years, which were very, very hot years. Here's a little dip around Thanksgiving, which seems like we have that about every year. And then we see a little uptick right after Christmas every year. Very good representation of what was happening in the market last year. Tons of buyers at the beginning of the year, and then it started to cool off quite a bit. Something else I was watching just to get some sense of buyer demand. This is mortgage applications. So one way to track housing will be, of course, to watch and see what's happening with mortgage applications. If we see more mortgage applications, of course, more buyers are interested. Interestingly for me, going back to October 31st of last year, this purchase index from the Mortgage Bankers of Association of America, which is just a number they compute to come up with demand. It was at 160, but by the end of the year, it moved up to 182.6, which if you do some rough numbers, it's like 12 or 13% increase. We actually saw an increase in buyer demand from the end of October through towards the end of the year. It's fallen off a little bit at the beginning of the year, which back down to right about the 160 where it was in October. But I thought it was interesting to see some signs of the market trying to move in the other direction. So starting at Whisper Dunes specifically, this is a chart. First of all, I keep saying Whisper Dunes specifically, and that's the next chart. This is the overall market in Panama City Beach, the housing market. Only homes priced from $400,000 to $750,000. I wanted to kind of get apples to apples. I know that's a little bit high for some of the townhomes in Whisper Dunes, but that gives us some sense of what is happening in the overall housing market. The red line here represents the number of homes for sale. The black line represents the number of closings. You can see since April or May that we really started to have more and more homes available for sale, which means buyers had more choices, which means sellers had to probably be a little softer in their approach than they were earlier in the year when it was so intense. The biggest takeaway for us to see where the market may be headed is this months of inventory number. Remember, months of inventory is a good barometer to see the pace of how things are going. 4 or 5 months of inventory represents a neutral or balanced market. The idea meaning that it takes 4 or 5 months to work through the process of selling something. From the day seller calls real estate office, we take photos, videos, marketing, arrange for showings, negotiate contracts, get to contract, go through the closing process. That whole time usually takes 4 or 5 months on average to sell real estate. So when that number is lower, that means things are happening faster. There's more demand. That's normally where you see price appreciation. So when we go over 4 or 5 months of inventory, the longer we stay at a higher number, that's a pretty good sign that we're going to start to see some prices coming down in the market. So what we watched last year, January, February, March, look how intense the market was. From phone call to real estate office all the way through to closing was happening in 1.5 months, 0.93 months in March. And think about this, considering it takes on average about 30 days for a closing, that means the whole process was happening in less than 30 days. That's how intense the market was. You heard plenty of stories of multiple offers and bidding wars and things going under contract very quickly. Since then, the market slowed down. We slowed down to 5.14 months of inventory in October, which is very much a balanced market, but kind of right on the edge of that, considering we were at 0.93 months and slowed every month to 5. I was wondering where the market was going to be headed from there. But look at November and December. We actually recovered to 4.38 and 3.5 months of inventory. 3.5 months of inventory is just this side of balanced, sort of seller market territory. So depending on what you're pricing, you can be a little bit more aggressive on your price, especially if you're in a popular neighborhood like Whisper Dunes. Looking at Whisper Dunes specifically, the numbers will bounce around a little bit more in here just because there's a little less data to analyze. We were pretty hot in June, July, 1 month of inventory, 2 months of inventory. We're sitting right about 4 right now, which is a little bit balanced, maybe a little bit softer than the rest of the market, but still in pretty good shape. I don't see signs of price depreciation for 2023 as of today. There were 28 sales in Whisper Dunes last year. I won't go through all of these. If you do want to stay updated and receive information on every listing or every contract or sale, asking price change or closing or sales price, if you want all the information, we can set you up on an e-alert system so that you just get that sent to you anytime something happens. It's a very accurate way to keep up with the market. So let us know if you want that. You get the listing, you can click on the photos, look at the description, and stay updated. But I will point out a few of the highlights. You had, all within 2022, you had a 1,577 square foot unit over on Sand Oak sell for 3,049, and you had another one sell for 325. You got as high as 365, 367, a little more square footage here. 365, also same square footage. Attached units still went as high as 375, 380, 389, 389, 400, 405 for one of the larger ones. 405 again. Getting into detached single families, the low end was at 452. The highest sale we had last year was 585 over on 239 Blue Sage, 575 over on 322 Blue Sage. If you look at the market at the moment, there are only 7 units out there that are either for sale or under contract, meaning there's a sale pending. 2 of those have pending sales. So 314 Sand Oak is under contract. Their asking price was 359. 449 or 101 Blue Sage is under contract. Their asking price was 449. So really only 5 units available for sale in all of Whisper Dunes. Remember, we're a pretty balanced market at the moment, taking on average about 4 months to sell something. Not extremely hot. So fundamentals like really great marketing, really tight pricing, staging, all of those things will come into play and be that much more important. But the encouraging thing is that at the moment, inside of Whisper Dunes or in the market in general in PCB, I don't see signs of depreciation as of yet. We do hear a lot of the experts talking about depreciation in the market this year. Some experts are talking about depreciation across the entire housing market. Some think it will happen in pockets of markets across the country. So we're going to do a lot this year with data. I'm certainly going to get out this video once a month again this year. This one's a little bit late after a ski trip and a music festival, but they'll start to come out right at the beginning of the month going forward. We want to really keep you updated on the market so you can see what's happening. Also, this year, this is the first year I've been selling real estate for 20 years. This is the first year going into the spring season in a very long time that there have been more questions what's going to happen about the market. The last easily 8, 9, 10 years, we've had appreciation in the market. So it was either, wow, prices are going to move up some or they're going to move up a lot. This year, there's some mixed signals, and so we're really wanting to keep up with that to help people make better decisions. We're going to do a lot on social media. If you follow our business page with statistics, it's a nice way to give us every day just kind of, we see some things that we think are important. We'll put those up there to keep you informed with what's happening. So hopefully this helps you. If you have any questions at any time, feel free to reach out. My direct cell number is 850-527-0221. I hope this helps you. Again, we'll be back in a couple weeks to look at our January numbers and see how things are going. I'll probably give you a little sneak peek and It's been not extremely busy, but it's been pretty steady so far the first couple of weeks of January. So I'll be interested to see how the supply and demand numbers shake out. So I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching. Again, I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group over at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. See you next time.